Crucial Conversations. This is something that I have actually halfway read through, I guess. I've kind of just stopped right now. I'm probably going to get back to it in the future. What I got out of the book in itself is, for me personally, to sum it up in one sentence, allow others to speak first, dissect the issue, and state your true opinion, and no, more so your feelings backed up by facts in some sense, to where it's kind of undeniable in how you correlate a conversation. And also, number 5, be your authentic self in a conversation and just be honest and open, pretty much. Alright, so the first chapter is based, what is a crucial conversation? I like the way that they set it up. Every chapter, what it starts off with in the quote right here in the box, the upper box right here, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So a crucial conversation is basically a hard conversation that is needed to be handled, to sum it up pretty much. In the best companies, everyone holds everyone else accountable, regardless of level or position. The path to high productivity passes not through a static system, but through face-to-face conversations. So just having that heart-to-heart with someone and just being honest and open, and not being afraid of just saying maybe what might offend someone, because I think it's best to say something to then not say something, just because the communication is there. It's just not there in a correct way. And if you communicate it in any instance, then you can probably recover from it, you know. If that person is not open to recovering the relationship, then it's more so on their end, you know, because it's a two-way street, you know, just to communicate. If they're not open to your opinions and stuff like that. Chapter 2 is basically mastering crucial conversations. I love this quote that he uses for the opening as well on the corner. I highlighted it. It's by Martin Luther King. It says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." And that really just stuck out to me, just because I'm not the person to really be confrontive and aggressive at all in like conversations. And I've learned that since I've read the beginning of this book in my relationship with my girlfriend specifically, the more crucial conversations that I have with her, the more I grow from it and the more she actually respects me in some sense, because I'm actually telling her how I feel. Is just allowing me to express myself and not trap everything inside, but also not just letting it go and letting it loose on her. It's just allowing her to know what I'm thinking, just because in my brain, whenever I'm having a hard conversation of some sense, or she's giving me feedback that's not in the best way, I kind of just turn off and I just don't say anything to her. She has more so a different way of going about things. She's more aggressive than me. So what is dialogue? Dialogue is, when it comes to crucial conversations, skilled people find a way to get all relevant information from others and themselves out into the open, and then making it like a shared pool. So the meaning of shared pool is just basically laying everything out on the table and then dissecting it. 70% of the success of a crucial conversation happens in your head, not through your mouth. So just think before you say. And I know women specifically, or even men with just high egos and confidence and attitudes basically, they more so have no filter, and it's actually kind of just a downfall for them, just because they're letting their emotions take over. They're not thinking before they say, which it's kind of like an old rule in the book, think before you say, but it's just something that's true. And then we have choose your topic for the 3rd chapter. And then the quote that starts off with this one is, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." What I grabbed from that is basically, you bring a problem, nothing happens, you don't actually take any action on it, there's no initiative on taking any action after that, and there's no real discussion of how to take action. So you kind of just leave it up in the air, and there's no actual good discussion on it. It's like a closed case in some sense. It's just kind of out in the open, and just both opinions are out in the air. There's no agreements, there's no negotiation really. It's just out there. I'll just read one more thing from chapter 3. It says, "If you're not addressing the right issue, you'll end up in the same conversation over and over again." And I think I've had that plenty times with multiple people. That's my fault, just because I'm not an aggressive person, and that's what I need That's what I learned from this fucking book. I just need to be more aggressive and more assertive in some sense on my opinion. And there's always a good way of doing it too. And then there's 3 signs basically that you're having the wrong conversation. This is probably the most beneficial that you're gonna get out of this video. The 3 ways that you know you're gonna have you're having a wrong conversation is your emotions are escalating to a high extent to where you're getting like your heart's beating, your fucking blood's flowing. And then number 2, you walk away skeptical. You pretty much walk away from the conversation. You say nothing is going to really change here. That's more so of a mental mindset than anything. Like, you need to change that mindset. And then 3, you're in a deja vu dialogue. If you ever have the same conversation with the same people a second time, the problem is not them, it's you. And then to wrap up chapter 3, don't allow the topic to change without a conscious decision. For chapter 4, start with your heart in the conversation. Speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you will ever regret. Here's one thing that you can probably take away just from the whole entire, I think, chapter personally, is this one quote. Start with heart. Skilled people start with heart. That is, they begin high-risk discussions with the right motives, and they stay focused on those motives no matter what happens. So you're going to get to the bottom of it, basically. Keep pushing on that why of why the conversation is even happening. Play the long game in the actual discussion itself. Like, what is the actual end result that you really want? Like, if you're getting flustered in some sense in the conversation, think in your, like, deep down in your heart, what do I want to get out of this conversation? Maybe it's a certain objective of some sort, but the way you're going about it is not going to get you to that objective, and you know it. So you pretty much just do a double take and then reposition yourself with how you're communicating. And then 5, master your stories. How to design a dialogue when you are angry, scared, or hurt. This quote is from a spy game movie apparently. It's not how you play the game, it's how the game plays you. Here is something that comes from that. So it says, emotions don't just happen. You and only you create your emotions. There's basically 2 claims for emotions don't just happen. Claim 1 is you and only you create your emotions. So how you react is your emotions. There's nothing going to change in that instance. And then claim 2, you can act on them or be acted on by them. Alright, so here's how you master your story. It basically tells you a diagram of the path to action. I have no clue if it's actually going to show you this or not. But yeah, see and hear, and then tell a story, and then feel and act on it. Nothing in this world is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. Can you see or hear this thing you are calling a fact? Is it an actual fact? Like, physically a thing? Is it measurable in any sense? Like, where's your proof? Here is a good example for like villain stories in some sense, or it's all your fault type of deal, whether you're doing it to someone or you're not. Taking an individual human being, lumping the person into a broad category, then rejecting that entire group of people allows us to both be angry at them and dismiss them all at once. Heartbreakingly, villainizing groups and communities continually perpetuates mistreatment and oppression. And then learn to look is the 6th chapter, how to notice when safety is a risk. Make it a safe environment to talk. The quote is, I have known 1,000 scams, but I have never met one who considered himself so. Self-knowledge isn't so common. Basically just being self-aware of how you're making someone else feel. Chapter 7, make it a safe conversation. How to make it safe to talk about almost anything. A quote from the Bible, actually, Proverbs 2:5-11. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in baskets of silver. Here is how to make it safe in a conversation to actually have someone not feel offended in some sense. The best at dialogue routinely used to build safety up front in a conversation and rebuild safety when it's been lost. Share your good intent first. Apologize when it's appropriate. Contrast to fix misunderstandings. And then create a mutual purpose. What is the whole entire reason of the conversation? You want to keep the relationship going. You value the relationship. And you just want to be able to get to the end goal of why the even conversation started. Yeah, explore other people's paths. Just make sure it's an open conversation. Probably the biggest thing of what I needed to do is stating my own path. Skills comes from practice and repetition. If you're talking about your opinion and you're actually giving your feedback, then it's just going to overall help you long term, because you're going to be able to naturally just give it and not just, like kind of shelter and like try to dodge conversations and shit like that, Be careful to not apologize for your views. Remember, the goal of contrasting is not to water down your message, but to be sure that people don't hear more than you intend. Here's like a summary for it, I guess. State your facts, tell your story, your side of it, ask for other paths, like their opinion basically. Encourage testing, so I don't know, just be devil's advocate and just test it out. That's pretty much what I got from this book, Crucial Conversations. Let me know if you pick it up, if you like it at all. I think it was a pretty good learning curve for me. I'm probably gonna finish the rest of this book later when I'm pretty much able to, in some sense. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to just go in depth with that. I need to practice the first main skills of this book before even going in depth about it, just because I'm not very skilled in that, some sense of just actually being aggressive in that way and just stating my opinion. But the next book that I'm starting this month in February is The Power of Habit: Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business. So Charles Duhigg, I guess. This is 300 some pages. I'm gonna try and check it out and see how this is. I only got to page like 187 on Crucial Conversations, but if you got into it, let me know how it is. Let me know how you like it. And yeah, deuces, peace. My camera's about to die, and I appreciate all of you that are still watching the video. Have a good day. Love you. Drive safe if you're driving, listening, whatever. Show love to your family. Be grateful. Peace.